Newsflash, it has already happened around the world. That's what the propagandists of the feckless Fourth Estate in America don't want you to know. They also don't want you to remember that there was a time not so long ago when it served the left-wing media's ideological agenda to expose the grave security risks of automated voting machines. Just 2 short years ago, the liberal social media outfit Now This sounded the alarm over vulnerable voting machines with a video showing that, quote, a hacker only needs 1 minute to change election results in 24 states. Twitter didn't censor that or label it. Now they just pretend it doesn't exist.
The serial console in the back gives us a root shell.
That means you have control of the machine.
Have full control of that, and then we can change the results of what it's scanning.
This is the way that you get data in and out of the operating system that runs on this machine.
My computer is connected to the machine. This is a serial cable, and it's connected to the back of the machine. Take off the back of the machine, and there's a serial port, and that gives us full root access with no password.
There's no security subsystem on this one.
Nope, there's no password on it. With this kind of access, you could rewrite the code that's running on there and get it to count votes in whatever way you wanted. You would do this in advance of election night and then wait for the results to come in.
You could control the election results.
Either way, as long as I had physical access to either plug something in or take off the back and plug something in there.
But you just need that access briefly.
Once, yes, very briefly.
About how long?
If you had this all prepped and ready to go, a minute.
A minute. 3 companies implicated in worldwide election meddling scandals are intertwined through a labyrinth of shell companies: Dominion, Smartmatic, and Sequoia. Dominion Voting Systems manufactures both election hardware and software with headquarters in Toronto, Canada, and Denver, Colorado. Smartmatic is the multinational corporation that makes vote counting machines as well as software and is purportedly tied to the late Venezuelan dictator Hugo Chavez's regime. Smartmatic machines have used Dominion software. Sequoia, which was acquired by Dominion in 2010, makes voting machines that have used Smartmatic software. Watchdogs in the Philippines have grappled with what they believe is widespread Smartmatic and Dominion-related election manipulation for 10 years. Attorney and former Filipino Congressman Glenn Chong scoured audit logs to uncover how Smartmatic machines had somehow preloaded and transmitted thousands of votes before polls even opened.
Michelle, the term preloaded is exactly the same term I'm using here in Manila. Preloaded votes, preloaded ballots. Again, I point this out to our audience. Look at these pieces of documents. They are signed. We have 70,000 voters. About exactly 4,114 ballots were already scanned by 145 voting machines days before the elections. That's over around 6 or 7%.
Chong notes similarities in how he says his race and others in the Philippines were rigged with what happened here in America.
I've said that my case in my district in Biliran, Philippines, is exactly the same case as in the case of President Trump. He was ahead on the night of the election, and then his lead was wiped out all throughout the day, the next day. That's the same thing with me. I was overtaken at 5:56 in the morning the following day, the day following the elections. In the case of Senator Ferdinand Marcos Jr., he was ahead on the night of the elections. He was ahead by 943,045 votes. That was his lead. Within a few hours, by 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:26, if I remember it right, 3:26 in the morning, all the 943,045 votes lead of Senator Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was wiped.
That's right, wiped out. Chong also exposed automatic vote padding and shaving manipulation by Smartmatic machines, plus what he says is missing and out-of-sequence ballot images. He confronted Smartmatic officials with reams of logs outlining this fraud. Other politicians in the Philippines turned up the heat.
I'm sorry I have to say this, and it seems a little harsh, but what they are not there to sell an electronic election system. They are there to give a method of cheating to whoever pays them the most.
Wow. Instead of providing answers, several Smartmatic officials left the country, including a veteran Smartmatic official named Hyder Garcia. This Venezuelan-born operative now serves, believe it or not, as election administrator for Tarrant County, Texas. That's a county which turned blue for the first time since 1964 after the introduction of new electronic voting machines. Well, evading scrutiny seems to be part of the vote hacking playbook. Last week, Dominion officials bailed out of a state legislative hearing in battleground Pennsylvania. GOP State Representative Dawn Kiefer asked the questions that Dominion won't answer.
Does Dominion use open source softwares so that observers can go in and they can see exactly what switches are being turned on and turned off? We don't know. Transparency is key. So if they're doing this, if they used open source software, right, we would know what's going on there. The average observer could take a look to see what that process is.
Who has control over our elections? Who has dominion over our votes? Is it we the people, or is it the electronic voting oligarchs? Without full election transparency, there can be no election peace.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.